Hello and welcome back to side 2. On this side of the tape we have a little bit of what's on, we have some history, we have a little sport, and we have some news items. It's over to Joyce now for what's on.
Well, we have a short list of films that's on at the Cannon Cinema in Enfield Town. From Friday the 2nd of December, that's tomorrow, until Thursday the 8th. There are 5 films showing there. Miracle on 34th Street, which is a U. The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a parental guidance film. Trial by Jury, which is for 15-year-olds. The Lion King, which is a U. And Highlander 3, which is again for 15-year-olds. And they're all on at the Cannon in Enfield Town. And if a whole family go to see The Miracle on 34th Street, there's a special offer of £9.99 for a family ticket offer. 2 adults and 2 children, plus a large popcorn per family. This offer doesn't apply to any of the other films. Also have a little bit of history. And we have some gleanings from a local newspaper, and this one is taken from the newsletter of the Edmonton 100 Society. And it's some news from 25 years ago in October 1969. The big news in the area of the 100 that month was the report of the unofficial strike of refuse collectors. The strike, wrote the local papers, was assuming national proportions. Haringey's dustmen struck 2 days before their colleagues in Enfield, and the collection of rubbish from more than 150,000 houses and thousands of business premises came to a complete stop. Hospitals, schools and old people's homes, however, had their refuse collected by the strikers on a voluntary basis. The strike was settled after 3 weeks, with the dustmen accepting a rise of £2 10 shillings per week. The Gazette quoted that their pay was a basic £15 9 shillings a week, but due to various bonus schemes and a little overtime, the average wage was £22. Whether this was before or after the strike settlement was not made clear. Bushel Park resident, the late Mr. Ross McWhirter, members may recall that he was killed by an IRA bomb at his home. Once again, he made headlines. Ross McWhirter takes the Home Secretary to court was the front page headline of the Gazette. Mr. McWhirter hoped to obtain an order compelling the Home Secretary, James Callaghan, to implement the Boundaries Commission recommendations of Parliamentary Constitution changes. The government proposed to implement only those recommendations that affected Greater London boroughs and a handful of constituents in the rest of the country. The proposals which affected Enfield suggested the removal of the old Enfield East and West constituencies and giving the borough only 3: Enfield North, Enfield Southgate and Enfield Edmonton. The Gazette's editor wrote, Mr. Ross McWhirter and his twin brother Norris have an uncomfortable habit of telling authority that it is breaking the law and going to court to prove it.
A strong reaction has come from Enfield Council following exclusive revelations in the Gazette about the neglected condition of a council house, which a former occupant claims is responsible for her contraction of chronic asthma. We revealed that the house in Lonsdale Drive, Enfield, was inspected by a leading Cambridge University expert in entomology, the study of insects, and declared to be a health hazard. In an official statement, the council said it had every sympathy with 52-year-old Janet Whittle and her husband John, and had made every effort to get to the bottom of their complaints. The council claimed they were allowed access to the building on the 23rd and the 24th of November and had no information in support of the claims. Offers of alternative accommodation have been rejected. The Whittles, now living in Orchard Avenue, Southgate, say none of the contractors which had earlier been sent to the house was willing to carry out the work needed once they saw the extent of what had to be done. The council had offered the couple £60,000 as part of their grants to vacate scheme. It is this offer that now proves the major source of contention between the parties. Council officers hint that the offer was somewhat over the top and constituted an attempt to settle the matter with as little fuss as possible. Housing Chief Councillor David Mason agrees, saying that he feels the offer reflects the sympathy the council had for the couple's problems. But the Whittles say £60,000 isn't enough, as the poor condition of the house has destroyed the value of all their fixtures and fittings, and doesn't come close to compensating them for the damage to Mrs. Whittle's health. A council spokesman said, "We do not accept any liability, but have been prepared to be flexible and discuss a possible financial settlement. This would have been dependent upon the council obtaining vacant possession of the property, and, broadly speaking, would have taken into account the loss of any discount the couple would have been entitled to under the right to buy scheme." He said the fact the Whittles hadn't found this acceptable was disappointing, as a settlement would have prevented a great deal of legal aid and council expense in relation to court proceedings. The offer to settle has since been withdrawn, but the council remains prepared to be flexible, he added. Janet and John Whittle earlier came into the news when overzealous wardens booked them seconds after the couple, with Janet in a distressed state, parked their car in Green Lane's Palmer's Green and struggled to get across the road to a chemist to buy a new key for Janet's oxygen cylinder. The incident was taken up by the national press, and the couple appeared afterwards on television.
A Middlesex University student is to put his own experience of kidney disease to good use by conducting research into new dialysis techniques for premature and preterm babies. Isaac Adu is a mature student in the final year of the Bachelor of Engineers Honours Mechanical Engineering course. He suffers from a kidney disorder that requires him to undertake self-dialysis 4 times a day at 6-hour intervals, each session taking some 45 minutes. Isaac's research project will look at ways of automating a new manual dialysis technique recently developed by Dr. Malcolm Coulthard of the Royal Victoria Infirmary in Newcastle. Dr. Coulthard and the dialysis machine manufacturer Baxter Healthcare Limited are both supporting the project. Isaac believes his experience will be important. I use kidney dialysis machines every day and often travel to Barts Hospital for treatment, where I have spent a lot of time talking to the technicians about my ideas, he said. His project supervisor, senior lecturer in engineering, Dr. Yazdi Kavina, said it was amazing that someone with Isaac's medical condition could even get out of bed, let alone attend university. I am delighted that Isaac will use his enormous experience of dialysis in such a positive way, he said.
One of the last official duties carried out by the late Councillor Pat Horridge was the launch of the studio, Edmonton Leisure Centre's latest facility, on Saturday. The studio actually opened in September. The ceremony included an official speech by the Mayor of Enfield, Rita Smythe, plus a sun and rain dance display by local children from the Points West Theatre Arts Group.
3 youths are thought to be responsible for 3 separate robberies of school children on the same day, Wednesday, the 16th of November. A 13-year-old boy was stopped by 3 youths in Hazelbury Road, Edmonton, near Latimer School, at 8:20 a.m. They demanded money, went through his pocket, stealing £2, and threatened to stab him. They also took his watch and rifled through his school bag, taking a pen. A second incident happened at 3:40 p.m. outside Latimer, when a 12-year-old from Winchmore Hill was waiting at the nearby bus stop. The youth seized the boy's school bag. Finally, a 14-year-old boy was threatened outside All Saints' Church in Church Street, Edmonton, at 4:05 p.m. He ran off before anything too serious happened. In all three cases, similar descriptions were given. All three of the youths were aged about 16. One was Asian, 5 foot 10 inches tall, with collar-length black hair. Another was white, aged 16, 5 feet 8 inches tall, stocky, with blonde hair, with either bad acne or freckles. The third was black and of similar size. In the final incident, a girl joined them. Will anyone who saw anything please contact Edmonton Police on 807-3030.
Art and cultural groups in Enfield have begun planning for the borough's first arts festival next summer. The idea has attracted the support of Millfield Theatre, the Bound and Gagged Comedy Club, Enfield Football Club, Middlesex University, UCI Cinemas, Capel Manor and Gardens, the Forty Hall Museum and the Millfield House Arts Centre, to name it says here to name just the organisations, but I'm sure it means just a few organisations. The Millfield Theatre in Edmonton is organising a variety of professional and community events. These will include music groups and societies and the Enfield Arts Network, which will stage a music showcase to celebrate National Music Day. Other features will include an Irish drama production, a night for dance and music fans with Shaban Jasing, and a spectacular featuring dances, I say that again, and a spectacular featuring dances from around the world. The Bound and Gagged Comedy Club at the Fox Pub in Palmer's Green will add additional comedy nights with star names on the cabaret comedy circuit. Enfield Football Club will engage even more renowned variety artists to appear at its Starlight Suite. Special community activities for older people and young children are also planned. Middlesex University is planning a third year of classical music concerts on its Trent Park site. During the Arts Festival, the Symphony Orchestra of the Young Persons Concert Foundation will play 3 concerts ending in a firework display. Also planned is a teddy bear's picnic. UCI Cinemas at the Lee Valley Leisure Complex will screen special films. Capel Manor and Gardens is looking at ways to blend traditional music, dance and literary activities into the themes of its gardens and horticultural centre. Forty Hall Museum, Forty Hill, will be arranging a photographic exhibition in conjunction with a national newspaper. There are also plans to hold a Tudor weekend inside the museum featuring a costumed cookery demonstration on food of that period, plus Tudor and Jacobean music recitals. Millfield House Arts Centre will show a range of textile and photographic exhibitions, including designs from Middlesex University's Silver Studios collection. A Crafts Council-sponsored studio glass exhibition will also be displayed, together with Greek and Italian textiles.
A gravedigger was pulled up in his own cemetery and arrested for drink driving just after midnight on Sunday morning. Richard Robinson from Green Road, Oakwood, also worked as a security guard in the Southgate Cemetery in Brunswick Park Road. He's been charged with driving with excess alcohol, driving while unfit, having no licence, no MOT certificate, no insurance, and theft. He was bailed and is due to appear at Enfield Magistrates Court on January the 17th.